Hello, I'm back. It has been some time. I've been all over the place. I've been like working nonstop since Thanksgiving, like my new job and everything. I love it. It's busy as hell and it makes me exhausted, but I love it. Way better than my other jobs. So I'm not complaining about that. But let me just tell you about this past week that I've had because it's been so fucking nuts. So where should I start? I guess I should start like Christmas Eve. So I work Christmas Eve until 5 o'clock and it's busy as fuck. Like everybody's last minute shopping. Everybody wants some fucking trays. I'm making trays constantly. I can do that shit in my sleep now. I've made so many of them. But here's something funny that happened on Christmas Eve. So this customer comes in and let me just say that we ran out of course a big truck goes by. We ran out of lettuce, like shredded lettuce for customers, but we can only use it for like if you bought a tray because like the customer paid for it already. So we're only using the little amount that we have for the last couple of trays, but we're offering them the spring mix. So I'm helping a customer. So before she gets started what she wanted, I'm like, just letting you know, we're out of shredded lettuce, but we have the spring mix, if that's okay with you. And so this other lady, she's hearing me say this and she's like getting visibly upset. She's like, what? This is ridiculous. So my other coworker was like, yeah, sorry, it's been busy, da, 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 da. And she just starts like, she gets like really weirdly upset about it. She's like, oh, I'll be back. We're like, where's she going? Like, you'll be back? What? And then my one coworker's like, please don't tell me she's going to produce to get some lettuce. Sure enough, like 5 minutes later, she comes back. She goes, I got some lettuce. Throws like 4 bags of lettuce at our counter, and I'm still helping my customer. So I turn to my team leader. I'm like, she's back with some lettuce. So she tries telling the lady, like, listen, like, we can't use that because it's a different department and this, that, and the third. Like, she's explaining like why we can't use it, and this lady like lost her shit. She's like, this is ridiculous, blah, I'm a customer, blah, 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 blah. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve, we're running out of everything. And then like our store is based out of New York, like Rochester, New York. So while she's screaming at us, all I hear is her say is, oh, I'm gonna tell New York, I'm telling Rochester, they're gonna know. What? Like, okay, tell them. They're probably running out of lettuce too. Like, what the fuck? And her husband was behind her the whole time like this. So then that happened. That was so funny. Like, that was the highlight of our day. Like, we couldn't stop laughing about that. So then finally it's time for me to go home. So I rushed home because we were sleeping over my sister's house. So I rushed home, packed everything, and we get there. And my sister, her wife, my mom's already there, and me and my boyfriend. So it's 5 of us. And it's probably like maybe like 7 o'clock at night at this point. Like we ate a little bit, they made some pizza, had a little bit of wine, and then my sister starts handing out like a gift, like they're all wrapped the same, like they all look exactly the same. We're like, oh god, what the hell is this? And apparently my mom got us all matching PJs. It was a green long sleeve that said it's the most wonderful time of the year. Then the bottoms were pants that were red, green, and white, like plaid. So we all opened them up at the same time, and it was so funny because my sister, when she opened up hers, she took the pants out and went like that. She goes, where's the rest of it? She's the only one that got shorts. She was like, no. Shit was so funny. So then for some dumb reason we decided to watch what the hell is it called? Glass Onion at like 9:30 at night. Like, I can't stay awake for shit. I got destroyed at work, so I'm half asleep. I already had some wine, so that's making me even more tired. And the movie's 2 hours long. So 20 minutes in, I was out. Then my sister passed out. And then my mom. And it was just my boyfriend and my sister-in-law were the only ones that stayed awake. And they only had like 40 minutes left. So they said, fuck it. Let's just turn it off. Everyone's asleep. We can watch it tomorrow. So then, excuse me, we get to Christmas, right? We all wake up. We go downstairs, have breakfast, all that shit. And then, yeah, after breakfast, we open up all our gifts. Just the 5 of us. Had some really cool gifts. Got some fun stuff. And then, out of nowhere, I was upstairs coming out of the bathroom, and I see my sister and my sister-in-law running up the steps, and they're on the phone. And I'm like, oh, God, what the hell is going on? Like, they look worried. I'm like, oh, no. So then I run downstairs and I'm like, oh man. And then all of a sudden I just hear someone upstairs just bawling their eyeballs out. And I'm like, oh no. So then my sister texts me while she's upstairs and I'm downstairs. Then on Christmas, literally, my sister-in-law, her grandma, passed away at 9 o'clock in the morning, Mississippi time, and in like New Jersey time for us, it was 10 o'clock. So I was like, oh my God, but like, damn, what a fucking bummer. I'm like, Jesus. So, I mean, the rest of Christmas went well, but like, she was upstairs for like 3 hours just crying on and off and napping, which is fine. Like, your grandma just died. Like, cry it all out. But we felt horrible. We were like, Jesus Christ. On Christmas, so we were like, just stay upstairs as long as you can. And then if you want to deal with my family when they come over, you can. But she was fine about it. After 3 hours of just being by herself and crying, she cried out all her tears and enjoyed the rest of Christmas. So then, because of that, they had to book a flight fast to get to the funeral, which is in Mississippi. So my sister was like, hey, can you and Don pet sit and house sit for us? I was like, yeah, sure. How long? They're like, 3 days. I'm like, okay. So here's how that went. So mind you, she has 3 cats, 2 guinea pigs, and an elderly German Shepherd, okay? So the cats strung me out because all 3 of them are on different medication and different food, so you have to watch them very carefully so they don't eat each other's food and fuck each other up. So, and these cats, they act like they're starving, but they're not, because they'll be like meowing and crying, and then you finally feed them and they're like, I don't want this. So then you have to like pretend like there's something new, and they're like, here you go. So like a half hour fucking feeding them, running around trying to grab the food, be like, here you go. Drove me fucking nuts. Ooh. I turned to my boyfriend. I was like, listen, if you ever hear me say I want a cat, talk me out of it, because I can't do this. So then the dog, guinea pigs are easy. I just throw them a bunch of hay and veggies and call it a night. But the dog, she is elderly. She's almost 11. She's a German Shepherd. She has all the German Shepherd problems a German Shepherd could fucking have, right? So recently, the dog has been like having a little bit of accidents. So I was scared out of my mind that I was going to come home from work, because I'm staying at their house for those 3 days and working. So I would come home from work. As soon as I get home, like, open the fucking door to let the dog out. There was no poop. I'm like, oh, thank God. So the first night, as soon as I got home, I let the dog out, and that was fine. She peed. And then I ran back upstairs to do the cats. And then I ran back downstairs to let the dog out again, and then feed her. So the second time I let the dog out, I'm like, oh, that's great. She's pooping. I don't have to deal with the poop anymore, because I was scared. And then I'm like, wait, this is taking a while. Like, she's going all around the yard. You know how dogs posture to poop? Well, she was doing that for like a couple minutes. I'm like, why are you going all around the yard? Like, is something wrong? Like, so I turned my flashlight on. The sight that I saw, I couldn't handle it. Like, I can't handle poop or throw up. Because I will just start gagging. Like, I can't handle it. I love hearing stories about, like, poop and throw up. But when it's in the moment, I can't do it. So what I saw was this long strand of shit coming out of her ass and she couldn't get out. So I called my sister. She's driving 2 hours. They got off the plane and then they had to drive 2 hours to get to Mississippi. So while she's driving, I'm calling them and I'm like, hey, Stella has shit coming out of her ass and it won't come out. What do I do? She goes, all right, well, there's gloves over here. Get that, get the trash can, get this, get that. I'm like, oh my God, where is all this at? So she's like talking me through it. I'm like, all right, I got the gloves on. I got the trash can. I'm like, what do I do? And so she's like, grab a napkin, lift her tail, and just pull it out. And she said that, I went, ah! So I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm freaking the fuck out because I got anxiety about this stuff. So the dog is strapped. The dog's freaking out because she's got something coming out of her ass and can't get it. So I'm trying to calm her down. I'm like, it's okay, Stella. Meanwhile, I'm still on the phone with my sister. I have her on speaker. I'm like, Stella, come here. It's okay. It's okay. I finally calm her down. And I'm preparing myself. I'm like, just do this. Get through it. As soon as I touch her tail, I'm like, ah! Gagging. And then I start crying and laughing at the same time. So I finally, after like 3 tries, I finally grabbed and I'm slowly like tugging on it while I'm gagging, crying, and laughing. My sister's on the phone and all I hear is her go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I finally got it. I threw it so fast in the trash because I kept going, ah! I couldn't handle it. My fucking face, man. Like, I told my sister, I was like, I don't know how your neighbors didn't come outside because they live in a townhouse, so they're not that far apart from each other. I'm like, I don't know how your neighbors didn't come outside and check on me or video me. I'm like, somehow this is gonna end up on TikTok. So that was over. I fed the dog, everything else went fine, and I just couldn't stop thinking about that. And then the next 2 nights, I walked the dog because I couldn't get her to poop in the yard. So when you put a leash on her, she gets excited and then she gets the nervous shits. So then every time she pooped, I would have to pick it up. I told my sister, I was like, I've never fucking gagged so much in my life in such a short amount of time. She was dying laughing. And then when I went to work the next day, I told all my coworkers and they were fucking crying. They were laughing so hard. And then for New Year's Eve, what did I do? I worked until 4:30, right? So then I get home and I'm like, I'm so tired. Like, that whole week had me so tired because work's been fucking nuts. I was pet sitting, they strung me out. So New Year's Eve, I come home, I'm like, all right, I just need to shower, eat something. And then I fell asleep. I forget what time I fell asleep, but I woke up and it was like 11. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't miss the ball drop. So I stayed up, watched the ball drop, everything, and I'm like, that nap fucked me up. Mind you, I have to be in at 6 a.m. So I couldn't go to sleep because I was wired from that 2-hour nap that I just had. So I'm like, well, I'm fucked. So I basically stayed up until like 3 in the fucking morning, finally fell asleep, and then it was time for me to get up, and I was like, oh no. So It's like 5:30 in the morning. I'm driving to work. There's fog on the fucking road. I'm like, yo, this is trippy as fuck. So then I finally get to work. I am obliteratedly exhausted. Thank God we have free tea and coffee because I used that shit. I needed something. So then by the time my other coworker got in at like 8:30, I was just like, she was dying laughing at me. And then by the time my shift was over at 2:30, man, I wasn't making any fucking sense. I'm surprised I got any of the orders right. She was laughing at me the whole day because I was like talking all sorts of fucking weird. I'm like, listen, you think I'm on drugs, but I'm just exhausted. So that's how my whole week went. And I finally got 8 hours of sleep, so I feel a hell of a lot better, even though I might look a little fucked up, but I feel like a person again. I didn't even feel like a person the last few days. But I just wanted to let you know about that. And that's about it. Happy New Year. I can't process that we're in the year that Endgame takes place. So like, Tony Stark dies this year, and so does Black Widow. Like, it's rough. Oh God, we're getting so old. I'm gonna be 30 this year. What the fuck? I'm having a crisis. But anyway, Happy New Year. Goodbye.